started here in 1991. I came in as an advisor and artistic director for another sort of program that had a number of teachers coming in, and then I took over the orchestra soon after, so I've been here 25 years.
So yeah, early days, really he took us from nothing. We didn't even have instruments. Everybody had their own instrument, and then he sourced instruments for the girls.
What I really enjoy is showing off the quality of talent that we have here, and so it has been really a very good experience, and also a pleasure seeing what we can produce at a high school level here in Jamaica.
It's really amazing to see when the students come in hardly knowing anything, hardly knowing where to put their fingers to get the correct pitches, and then to see them progress if they persevere and if they really practice is really rewarding.
Being a performer is really my first love, but being able to inspire and introduce students to something that they have never had before, and giving them the opportunity to experience world culture, I think is quite an interesting thing.
I think the most valuable lesson I've learned from being in the orchestra is managing my time well. From having to do lunchtime rehearsals, to personal practice, to school assignments, it takes a lot of discipline to be able to manage that, and I think that the orchestra taught me that well.
You know, Immaculate's music department is really one of the very best I've seen here on the island, and it's very much like a conservatory where you have different levels. You have some professional students, meaning the ones who are absolutely going to be professional musicians. You have a number of, the majority being recreational musicians, the ones who have started at the high school level. And we have other musicians who come through and are considered honorary members of the orchestra.
Well, it's nice to play with other people, because I think together we can make something really beautiful.
Because of the significance of this department here, other schools in the neighbourhood, meaning Hillel or Woolmus or Campion or any of the other schools, some members do come in to enjoy what we have here. The older men you probably see would be members of the military band, who are also very, very interested in expanding their own repertoire.
I'm a freelancer, illustrator, graphic designer, and you've really got to be disciplined. You know, you've got to meet deadlines, you've got to be on time, and I have to say that being in the orchestra for so long, you know, you have to do, you know, it really taught me to be on time, meet deadlines. You know, Mr. Woodham used to be, you know, if you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. And if you're late, just go. So, you know, that's how it used to be. So, you know, I've taken all of that with me into everything I do. And I would say that it has helped greatly with my discipline.
Being in the orchestra has taught me teamwork, the importance of punctuality, the importance of practicing your craft on your own before showing up to rehearsal and ruining everything. And you're wondering, how can you apply that to medicine? But in medicine, you have to do a lot of the studies, a lot of the reading on your own.
I play primarily the violin and viola, and well, I had to study, of course, the piano as well. And during our training, we have to go through all the various instruments of the orchestra, so that we'll be able to really conduct. So if there's someone playing the flute, for example, and they're having a bit of a problem, I need to have at least some sort of working knowledge of how they can project, especially with a student orchestra, with students like it. What I find is that it's very different being in a professional orchestra where the conductor comes in and simply demands a particular phrase or articulation. With a student orchestra, we have to be much more precise. We actually have to get down to details and help the students actually produce that particular sound.
I don't think many people or many of the students realize how much work he puts in, a lot of homework, a lot of hours spent here at school, copying music, not to mention in his holidays, going abroad to get the score, new music for the orchestra, taking instruments to be repaired and all of that, begging, pleading, getting donations and so on. So that's something that probably most of them don't know about.
Join the orchestra because you're not just learning music, you're learning another language. If you want to be bilingual, if you want something that's practical and you can make money from, master an instrument and join the orchestra.
I think the orchestra gets better. I think what happens somehow is the experience and the knowledge and the playing abilities really, how should I say, there is a sort of a legacy there that they know already, and the students coming in, and it is really quite fantastic to see how the repertoire has grown and how the orchestra responds to me as well, and that's really fantastic. And it's a learning experience. I think that they all learn from each other, and that's a very important process.
Join the orchestra because of the experience, the people you meet, and just the music in general. Like, I can assure you there's no other experience and playing with an orchestra and making music, having the crowd applause you. It's just an amazing feeling making music.
In the orchestra because, especially this Immaculate Symphony Orchestra, because it teaches you something new about yourself every single time that you go in the room to play.
Like, you have to do a lot of hard work to achieve what you want, and you have to be very disciplined. You have to work with everyone or else the sound won't be as good as it can. And it just helps you with everything, not just with your music performance, but how you conduct yourself and how you do your work. It really improves your life overall. It makes you happy too.
I think that this is by far the most interesting bit of work that I have done in my life in terms of creating something absolutely new that was not there before. And it doesn't matter where I play hereafter. I think that this, for me, really is the most important thing I've done musically.
Sir, you are a one-of-a-kind teacher. Your standards are top of the class, and thank you for never lowering your standards for anybody. Thank you for pushing me so hard when I wanted to give up. Thank you for believing in me when I didn't believe in myself. And I will forever be grateful for everything that you've done for me. You've taught me life lessons, and you've taught me more than I could ever learn playing the violin. And you've been like the second father to me, and I can never repay you.